What's up, Indiana? Welcome to Indy Sports Nation right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Are your brackets busted? Are Indiana Pacers to be named the Indiana Pacemakers after this past week? And IU basketball has found their new coach. All that and more. Lots to discuss. Thanks for joining. Saddle up. Indy Sports Nation, let's go. Good afternoon. Welcome in to another episode or another installment, whichever word you prefer, of Indy Sports Nation right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Apparently, this is my 25th episode. It's like a silver jubilee or something like that they call it today. I don't know. Let's just temper some expectations here, all right? Appreciate you taking the time to join me, whether it's live or on the replay. Thank you so very much, man. We've got a lot to discuss, which we always do, but I just feel like each week it's more and more packed with stuff. Gonna talk some Indy Ignite. Got some Fever news that came out this week. Got to talk some women's hoops. The women are representing here in the state of Indiana, so we're 2 for 2 so far today. Hope to make it 3 for 3 here in a bit. So we'll chat about that a little bit. Obviously, the Pacers and their crazy week they've had. It's been good, but kind of wild. So we'll get into that, and then obviously talk a little bit of Purdue. They were able to survive and advance yesterday, first round of the men's tournament, and then IU made their hire. So we'll get into that as well. So a lot to discuss today. But as you know, before we get into all of it, we have to give some love to our great sponsors. Planet Jerky, their brisket from a whole other planet. Vital Apparel, Seal the Deal, Wax Seals, Raw Nutrition. So let's do that. Let's hear from our sponsors. We'll come back and dive into it on the other side. Thank you once again for joining me. Big Mike here, Indy Sports Nation on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. We'll be right back.
IE Sports Radio fans, this show is brought to you by Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. Planet Jerky is the official jerky of the 2022 California League champion Lake Elsinore Storm, single A affiliate of the San Diego Padres. This all brisket jerky has gluten-free options, contains no MSG, no sodium nitrate, is low in sugar, and high in protein. Go to their website at planetjerky.net and follow them on Instagram at Planet Jerky. Planet Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet.
Rise and shine. It's 4 a.m. The stars are still out. The sun is beneath the horizon, but it's time to punch in and go to work. The comfort of your warm-ups turns into the grinding out of your reps as the clinking and the clanking of the plates create a symphony of euphoria. There's no other feeling like it. Earn it, burn it, and take what's yours. IE Sports Radio has proudly partnered with Vital Apparel, a brand that not only fits great, but also promotes and donates to mental health research. Use our code IESR to get 15% off their comfortable and inspiring gym wear and help them on their amazing journey to support mental health. Go hard, take part in your iron therapy, and be strong. Because when your mental health is as strong as you are, there's no telling how far you'll go.
Hey there, IE Sports Radio fans. Be sure to check out our sponsor, Seal the Deal Wax Seals by Cecilia B. You just finished your very own wedding or baby shower invitations and you're looking for that extra special touch? Maybe you just wrote a letter to a relative or a friend and you want to add to their smile when they receive it. Then seal the deal with Cecilia's handmade sealing wax stamps for your invitations, letters, and gifts. You bring the deal, we'll bring the seal. You can find them on Instagram at sealthedeal_wax stamps and on Facebook, Seal the Deal Wax Seals.
For the last 10 years, IE Sports Radio has been bringing you amazing content ranging from interviewing legendary athletes, coaches, and other authorized media personnel to building tailor-made shows dedicated to all major sports cities around the country. Make sure to follow us at IE Sports Radio on X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube to keep up with the latest in sports and with all of our shows. Also, make sure to check out our daily updated website at iesportsradio.com. At iesportsradio.com, you can see our daily show schedule and check out all of our show pages with personal bios to learn a little bit more about each of our awesome hosts. In addition to our show pages, you can catch the IE Sports Radio blog, Hall of Fame, Fans of the Month page, and our merchandise shop including t-shirts, tank tops, caps, long sleeves, hoodies, and more. For now over a decade here at IE Sports Radio, we've continued to be by the fans, for the fans, and we thank you all for your support and for making IE Sports Radio your direct feed for all that is sports.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Thank you so much again for tuning in. And while you're on the IESportsRadio.com site, you can pick yourself up some nice, comfy swag. We all appreciate that here at the station. Check out our other great hosts and shows across the country as well. From sea to shining sea, we got you covered. We got you covered. Be remiss to not, be really stupid, to be quite honest with you, but not mention our newest sponsor, Raw Nutrition. Get rawnutrition.com. Some of the best supplements out there. Use promo code IESR. Get your 10% off. Check them out. That's great stuff that they're selling out there, no doubt about it. You can follow me here on the old X or Twitter, whatever you're calling it these days. Show page is at Indy Sports _IESR, or you can follow me on the personal account. I am at the Chill Mike. Appreciate that. And again, if you're watching live today, thank you so much for that. You can hit me up in the comments here. Love to interact with you. Sports, PG. Again, I say it every week, but got to repeat it. Support the club. Click that link. It's scrolling at the bottom there. Spreaker.com/podcast/Indy-Sports-Nation. Check that out. Helps keep us keeps the station going. If you're able to support, there'll be some swag coming your way. It's $5 a month. It's but I know it's tough out there. So hopefully, if you're so generous, you're able to do that. Thank you. With some little goodies coming your way if you're able to make that happen. All right, so we get that out of the way. As you can tell, yet again, your boy Big Mike is on location again. Hopefully, this will be about the last Friday I'm on location, but hey, it's the gig, right? You got to do what you got to do. So, but I am in sunny Florida, so at least weather's here is pretty good, so I cannot complain. But let's dive into it. You didn't tune in to hear about weather. Let's talk some sports, and we got to start with the ladies again, man. I'm telling you, ladies in this state of Indiana, they just they represent, they ball out, and we had a great week from the Indy Ignite. Got 2 solid wins, and mind you, this is without all-star. Sorry, I got a little blood in my throat there, but member Mena, who's been out for the past few weeks now with a foot injury. Not a whole lot. They're kind of keeping that close to the chest. This is kind of what the Indy Ignite do, so which is fine. I'm kind of hopeful she's back this weekend, but we'll see. But kudos to the ladies. 2 wins. Started early in the week at Grand Rapids. 4-set. They lost the first set, 22-25, but then rallied back 25-20, 25-19, 25-22. And having Anna DeBeer back in the lineup as she'd missed a first half or so of the season with her injury she suffered back in college when she was at Louisville. To get 13 kills was nice. Taylor, after coming off the PVF Player of the Week with 14. The team had 14 blocks, which was our second defensive, second best all season, rather. So from a defensive standpoint, their second best performance. So good way to start the week, and then to come back and what another battle with Columbus, man. They've had some battles this year. A 5-setter. So we got 25. So Indy takes the first 2, 25-21, 25-16, and then drop the next 2. And had, I believe it was 3 match point opportunities in the third set. And could have got the clean sweep, but not so much. So Columbus, kudos to them. But a 26-28 and a 24-26 loss, and then 15-13 in the 5th and final set. Taylor with 17 kills. Middle blockers, we had Lydia Martin and Cece Crawford both with 17 points, which is probably their best output of the season to this point. And then, again, Anna DeBeer, 15 kills, which was her season best. So that puts them at 10-8 for the season. Right now, they are tied for 3rd in the league. I do believe they would lose a tiebreak to Atlanta at the moment. But still, at this point, tied for 3rd. But, man, this will get tricky. Here they got a 3-game road trip coming up. And the road has not been overly nice to them in the grand scheme of the season. Yeah, they've only got 2 or 3 wins from the road. Most of their wins are home. So, and of course, the lovely schedule is what. Of course, we're going to have to go to Omaha the first game 1 of this 3-game trip. So, Omaha's leading the league, and their next stop's Orlando. So, 2 big games coming up for the Indy Ignite. So you've got Omaha, for example, first place, defending champs. Orlando's in 2nd. And then they'll have another battle with Columbus after that. So as much as those 2 teams have been battling, this will be a really tough and I think important 3-game stretch for the Ignite. Not sure about Member Mena's injury. I mean, I know it's an ankle deal, and we all know how those things are, man. Those things can be really, really tricky. So I'm hopeful that they're able to get to full strength, but as I've always said on this show, we'll continue to say on this show, it's next person up. So, the Ignite have done a good job of that this week and getting a couple good wins for them. So, kudos to the ladies, and hopefully we'll see that streak continue. They were close to getting Omaha last time, but we'll see. If that game is on FS1 Saturday night, or tomorrow night rather. I'm losing track of days. It's nuts. 7 p.m. So give them a watch. You've not watched this team. I'm saying, I keep telling you all, man, check this team out. They are a lot of fun to watch. They really, really are. So give them some of your time. They deserve it. So from that, we'll move on here and get a little creative with the color here, because when you're talking the Fever, they've got like 4 different styles of uniform, I think. But so the Fever made the news this week. Its schedules coming out, or have come out, I should say, and 41 of their 44 games are on national TV. And boy, I tell you, I can't even. It's amazing to hate already. If you scroll around social media, what have you, you're already seeing it. I mean, you're already seeing the fact that Fever fatigue and this, that, and the other. And look, here's the thing. I get it, because if you talk NBA, for example, right, and you look at ESPNs and TNTs, whatever, and you see a lot of Celtics. Obviously you see the Cavs this year is because they're having such a good year, but you still see a lot of Lakers and what have you. They're going to do what moves the needle. They're going to put on product that gets the most eyes, even though people in other markets, it drives you crazy. And I get it. I mean, trust me, I get it. I mean, I'm a Pacers fan, and they don't get a ton of coverage. These smaller, mid-sized, smaller market teams don't typically. But this is going to be an exception here, because we got to be honest with ourselves. We saw what happened last year with the Indiana Fever, and the crowds. I say they. Let's be honest. Caitlin Clark was drawing. I mean, you're moving teams out of their stadiums to go to bigger venues so they can sell more tickets, put more butts in seats. It's already happened. You've seen the announcements already. These are going to American Airlines, or they're going to United Center to go to Chicago. It's what it is. And I would argue that, we've heard the expression, she moves the needle. I'm referencing Caitlin. Maybe a corny analogy, but she kind of is the needle if you think about it. I mean, like, she's selling tickets. She's doing her thing. And now you got this team who's just loaded up, in the offseason, making all these acquisitions and what have you. The team looks like, on paper, they should contend for a championship. And here you got people already throwing a fit about it. I don't know what you expect. I mean, as a Fever fan, I think this is I'm glad, obviously. I mean, I want my team to get exposure. I want sure, I guess you can maybe say it's overkill, I guess. I don't know. But you have a generational talent already, and with an already talented roster. Just her and Aaliyah Boston alone, not to mention the acquisition. So, yeah, I mean, I'm sorry, but sorry, not sorry. But yeah, I was just kind of surprised already with the lack. I mean, just the, kind of the hate already. I mean, come on, let's just, we don't watch it. That's what I do. I see an NBA team I don't want to watch. Guess what? I don't watch it. I'll turn on the Pacers broadcast on the radio or whatever, or I'll have it on my phone and be doing whatever. I won't tell you, but yeah, opener against Chicago, of course. I mean, hello, of course they're going to do a Caitlin Clark Angel Reese opener. Of course. Why wouldn't they? May 17th, that's as of right now slated for, I believe, a 3 p.m. Eastern tip on ABC, I believe it is, as of right now. So, but I thought I'd bring up that tidbit. I just thought that was very, very interesting. And I just, again, the amount of people who are just mad about it already or just hating on it, I just thought was absolutely silly. So, but moving on from the from that, I want to get to one more thing here before we take our first break. And this is something that I haven't given my alma mater a ton of time or love, and that's, shame on me. I should do a better job of that. But to be fair, Ball State University they haven't had a whole lot to write home about from a sports standpoint recent years. They've had some runs, football a few years ago, had a decent squad, kind of dipped back, and they've had some histories, having some decent men's basketball teams and whatnot. And with women, they've had a few decent softball teams here and there and soccer teams, what have you. But I got to give some love to my alma mater, Ball State University. The women won their regular season MAC, and the tournament for the first time since 2009. So chirp, chirp. Chirp, chirp, baby. I am excited for them. I cannot wait. Tip-off is about 40 minutes. They tip off at 6 p.m. Eastern time. They're in Waco as a 12 seed going up against Mississippi, which is I know it's a tough matchup. Pretty much everybody in a bracket who's doing a bracket, I think, is not picking Ball State, and that's fine. That's fine. I just like the way they're playing. I think Coach Brady Slee's got these girls playing, and just kind of that they got a swagger, they got confidence to them. Am I saying they're going to win tonight? No, I'm not saying book it. But do I think they could, could this be one of those 5-12s? I know we don't see it quite as much in the women's game as we do in the men's. We saw one today in the men's, obviously, if you've been watching. I don't know. I mean, both teams are shooting the ball fairly decent. Yeah, I get it. I get the level of competition. I understand all that. But again, it's this March Madness for a reason, right? And we'll get to that more later when we talk about Purdue. So anyway, so best of luck to the Ball State women. Tough one tonight, but you know what? Again, it's basketball. It's what's so great about the game of basketball, right? Any team can have an off night, just not hit shots. Ask Clemson. Ask the Clemson men yesterday. They'll tell you all about it until it was too little, too late. So we'll recap this game. Next week. Obviously, as I mentioned, they tip off at 6 p.m. So no whole lot could do now, but we'll touch next week's show. Hopefully they're still in it, but I realize tough hill for them to climb, no doubt about it. But with that being said, we're going to get to our first round of breaks here, and we're going to stick with the women when we get back on the other side because, again, as I mentioned, the women are representing here. IU women and Notre Dame women have both played today, both got W's. So we'll touch on that a little bit when we get back. Obviously, we still got some Pacers talk to get into, a little bit of Purdue, and then, of course, the big story in the state of Indiana is the Indiana University's new basketball coach. And there's some people who are also happy about that, mostly from West Virginia. But yeah, it's all right. We'll get into that. So thanks for tuning in, everybody. I really appreciate you. We'll get our next round of breaks in, and we'll be right back.
Hello, IE Sports Radio family and other sports families. My name is Alden Kay, and I want to welcome you to the AZ Sports Zone on the IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. If you're a fan of the Valley and the Grand Canyon State like me, then I've got the show for you. Tune in every week, where I will update you and give you the latest news for the Arizona Cardinals, Phoenix Suns, Arizona Diamondbacks, ASU Sun Devils, U of A Wildcats, GCU Antelope, and of course, the NAU Lumberjacks. Again, if you're a Valley sports fan and like all that is desert sports like me, tune in every week here on the IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. We'll see you then.
What's up, Pittsburgh? This is Ralph DeLeese, the host of the Indy Report on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Are you that passionate, diehard Steelers, Penguins, Pirates, or just a Pittsburgh sports fan? Then please join me on the Indy Report every Tuesday on IE Sports Radio, the direct feed for all that is sports, and I will update you on all that's black and gold, and have you telling your Pittsburgh fans and friends what's up with Pittsburgh sports. Tune in Tuesday with me, Ralph Calise, the Injury Report on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Let's go!
All right, welcome back, everybody. Thank you once again for tuning in, whether it is live or on the replay. Appreciate you very much. My boy Taryn checking in. He's wrapped up his show, SoCal Sports. Good evening, Mike. Hope you're having a good, awesome show. Appreciate you as always. He also does our set point, which is he's our volleyball guru. So I hope I'm making him proud, talking a little bit of volleyball on my show. But I say anyway. We'll move on from that. We got so much more to dive into here. So Indiana women with a nice victory today, beating Utah 76-68. And unfortunately for them, they're likely to face South Carolina in round 2. And we all know how absolutely dominant the South Carolina women have been, and what feels like forever. In fact, let's see if we can get a quick so it's basically the end of the third quarter, and South Carolina's up by 50. So I'm not even exaggerating. So it's gonna be a tough test for IU. But you got to, you know what, they had a good performance today, especially the third quarter. That third quarter really separated them, I thought. But hey, you know what? 5. You had 5 ladies in double figures. And they shot almost 60% from the field today. So good. Garzon with leading the charge, I should say, with 17 points. They're gonna need some of that, and then some probably come Sunday. My only concern, I shouldn't say my only concern, but I would say a big concern I had today. I would like to see them be able to shoot a little bit better from 3. I think they're going to have to in order to be able to hang with South Carolina. I think I read they only shot, I think it's like on 25% from 3 today. So obviously I'm not trying to suggest you go down and shoot threes and shoot 80% here, but you're coming against one of the top teams in the country like South Carolina, and you're coming in as a 9 seed. A lot of things going to have to go right, and you're going to have to hope some things for South Carolina go a little bit wrong. But hey, you know what? I thought initially I wasn't even sure there for a hot minute that IU was even going to make the tournament until they got that nice win over Ohio State around a month ago or so, and I kind of feel like at that point that kind of solidified them, just because they had some losses this year that to me were head scratchers. But another 20-win season for the ladies. I believe it's like 10 straight now for them. So kudos to them, and let's say, hey, you know what? Why not? Again, we keep saying it's March Madness, so why not? Why not? So moving on from that, again, this is a lot of hoops. Obviously, it's March Madness, right? This is one of my favorite times of year. So let's start with Notre Dame. Let's get the Notre Dame women some love here real quick. What a beat down that was today. Defeat Stephen F. Austin 106-54. Hannah Hidalgo and Citation both have 24 points. They also had 5 in double figures. Now, the story, it came out of this, if you see this on the ticker, is that Olivia Miles suffered an ankle injury. I believe that was early in the fourth quarter. Now, so we'll see what happened. They took her to the locker room. She didn't return. She did not have she probably had one of her worst games, honestly, that I've seen. I think she was 0 for 6 from the field. I mean, but fortunately, hey, everybody has those days, right? You just do. I mean, they are what they are. I just pulled it up here. 0 for 6 from the field, 0 for 4 from 3. She had 2 points. But again, I think the big thing, we'll monitor that injury, because that's a player you don't want to be without. If she were to miss a game, I think that's fine. I mean, Notre Dame's loaded with talent, so I wouldn't be concerned about, or as concerned, I should say, about round 2. Sweet 16 could be a different story, assuming they get there. I've picked them. I've said on this show from day one, I said this is a Final Four team. I still think they are. I know they've slipped a little bit as of late. They end up losing, I believe, it's 3 out of their last 5. If you're counting the ACC tournament. I'm still like, this team's still good enough to has beaten, some of the giants out there this year already. So I'm not overly worried about this team. But obviously, you don't want to have somebody like Miles out of your lineup. But with that being said, I had to give a quick shout out to Lisa Carlin, man. She came off the bench, 13 points, 6 of 7 from the field, 10 rebounds and 4 assists. I mean, what a contribution off the bench today for her, no doubt about that. So again, 5 on double figures. Obviously, so this game was a mismatch from the get-go. So the result, I think, shocks absolutely no one. Maybe the deficit, the points. But we'll see. We'll see who we'll update here on the socials on their opponent here. There's so many games going on right now at the same time. It's almost hard to keep up. But real quick, got another comment coming in from my boy Terrence, who obviously is listening. Thanks, buddy. I got you. But hard not to talk about the Indy Ignite, man. It's they're just such a fun team. All right, so we'll take a little break from college here, change it up a little bit, and let's talk some Pacers. Holy cow. What a week it's been. I've now won 3 straight after losing that tough one to Milwaukee, which is unfortunate because that cost them that. It's a tiebreaker now, right? So any tiebreaker is going to go Milwaukee's way. However, these games were nuts. So for those of you who may have not seen it, it was all over, ESPN, Fox Sports, whatever. Pacers go to Minnesota. Minnesota had won 8 straight, I believe, at the time. And Pacers were without 4 starters. The only one who was there was Nebhard. And I believe it was the third quarter he got ejected because him and, all around good Samaritan, good guy, Rudy Gobert, just doing Rudy Gobert things. And led to both of them getting ejected. So you're playing with a Pacers second unit against a Minnesota team that's been kind of on a roll. Actually, no, kind of. They have been on a roll. And Obi Toppin with that crazy fadeaway, going out of bounds, 3-point shot, just very similar to what Tyrese Halliburton did when he hosted Milwaukee a few weeks ago. And Obi getting 34 points. And we were talking before the deadline. Some of us were concerned that they're going to ship him off just because of contractual reasons. I mean, he did sign an extension last year, but, now we got the Miles Turner deal coming up. It's expected they're going to re-sign him, or at least do everything they can to do so. So, there are rumors going around that Toppin may not be, he might be a casualty of that deal. But I tell you what, he's been a heck of a piece ever since, and especially in Minnesota. Like, holy cow! So for them to get that win, which was, I mean, to me, it was like that's one hell of a win. That's one that gets your fan base amped up. You're like, and again, if you're on the other side of that, you're kind of hanging your head. But most of us Pacers fans they were going to that game. We're like, no, this is probably an L. We'll get Dallas at home. Maybe we can get Dallas because they were in a similar boat, pretty much, have nobody. And then naturally, of course, in true Pacers fashion, this game is over. They're down I think it was 6 points with less than a minute to go. And then you had this, the Pascal steal. I think it was around 28 seconds ago. Some good ball movement. And then there's Nebhard with that to be the game-winning 3-pointer. Of course, they end up taking foul shots here later, and Nimby's been one that, and we'll get to this a little bit, probably a little bit more next week. I'm looking to lock down a few guests to talk a lot of Pacers on next week's show. Nimby's was one that's kind of driving some of us a little bit crazy as of late. And the reason I say that is simply for the fact there's just games where his offense looks great, and at the same time his defense will be atrocious, or it's vice versa. It's just there's just been that, at least in my eyes, just that lack of consistency. Just can't get that game, put together. And then he turns around and hits that, game-winning three, which he had missed free throws earlier. He'd made some silly plays, and you're just like sitting there shaking your head. And meanwhile, you got half of, Pacer social media just loving the guy, which I do too. I love the guy. But at the same time, hating on Benedict Mathurin, which that leads me to last night. Again, and by the way, all these games were without Tyrese Halliburton, right? And as I've been saying the entire time, that this team, he's the orchestrator. This team goes through Tyrese. And so he's been out the past 3 games. And you got some Mathurin haters who are, again, been hating on him, saying he's just not disciplined enough. And maybe I shouldn't say haters. I don't want to go too far with that, but just kind of been critical. Maybe that's a better way to put it. And, I don't know. All he does is go out and score 20 points a game. What do you have, 29 last night? Had 16 rebounds. I don't know. The guy just delivers. He just performs. He just contributes. Granted, I understand there might be some aspects of his game or certain points of a game where he'll make mistakes, because of course we all do. They all do. All I know is when that guy's on the floor, more times than not, he is a more than solid contributor to this team. So I don't quite understand why there's like this divisiveness here, if you will, when it comes to the, I get it, social media, obviously, and there's just trolls, but Mathurin has been solid, and especially I feel like with Tyrese being gone, he's been, obviously not as much maybe in Minnesota, but could had 22 against Dallas. So I don't get it, but we'll dig in more to it. I think next week, like I said, should have a couple guests, lined up here. We'll get them some more in-depth Pacers talk, but they've got some good opportunities here these next couple games. And here's my point in all this. So obviously, after losing to Milwaukee, and which was unfortunate, but I don't think it was a huge surprise. You got the Nets again tomorrow night, which again, it was ugly last night, but whatever, you take it. You get Timberwolves coming back in, which that'll be an interesting one. And then you have the Lakers and then the Wizards. So these are some really, winnable games. And as a result, Milwaukee's facing a little bit tougher schedule now. So as of right now, the Pacers actually have a game lead over Milwaukee. So you hope, as a Pacers fan, that you can take advantage of the situation here. You beat, obviously beat Brooklyn. Minnesota will be a little tougher one, obviously. But, the Lakers and the Wizards, Lakers at home, I think you really obviously love to get all 4. But I think to get 3 with Milwaukee playing a little bit tougher schedule, you could, and we'll see what happens. If Milwaukee turns it on, who knows? But you could get yourself in a position where you got a couple game lead on them, coming into here we are almost to April, which is crazy. So, but good stretch here for the Pacers. We will see if they can keep this momentum going. We'll see how the health of one Tyrese Halliburton is. We knew he wasn't all that healthy when last time we saw him, so for him to be out is a surprise to, I think, pretty much nobody. So, all right. So with that said, we will take one final break here. Got to talk a little bit of Purdue, and then obviously we'll talk some IU and the West Virginia. Some would say the theft from West Virginia. So we'll dig into that on the other side. So one more time, thank you for joining me, everybody. Big Mike here on Indy Sports Nation, right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. We'll be right back.
How we doing, sports fans? This is Christian Harvey, your host of Gritsville, USA, your go-to show for all things Detroit and Michigan here on IE Sports Radio. Whether you're here for Gritty Lions talk, getting pumped up for the great Detroit sports renaissance, or hating on your neighbor depending on if they were green or blue, we got you covered. Whether you're in the East, West, or Central, we got you covered. Join me as we tackle through all that the great state of Michigan has to offer in the world of sports. Catch me, Christian Harvey, each week on Gritsville, USA, right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Davidson.
It's your boy, Dentarius Lava.
And we are the hosts of Fast Break here on IE Sports Radio, where we discuss everything in the world of basketball from prep to the pros.
You guys should definitely check us out, man. Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. We got all the basketball information you guys need, so we look forward to you guys listening in.
And please do, because we are the best basketball show on this side of the Mississippi. And please do check us out on Twitter at FastBreakISR. D-Lock, where's our time again?
8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. That give you guys plenty of time on a Sunday.
Tune in.
All right, welcome back. Again, thank you so much for tuning in. Appreciate the comments. And again, if you're watching on the replay, feel free to hit me up on the socials as well. All right, so let's get in back to college hoops. Purdue, which was this was one that this was the upset everybody was picking. You know, everybody's like, oh, give me a high point. Give me a high point. And look, I mean, it's not that high point was terrible, but it was. And I hope this resonates with Purdue. I hope this kind of gives them a little bit of motivation, because they're already doing it for tomorrow too. They're like, oh, give me McNeese. And I get it. Some are going, well, it's because of their history. I'm sorry, their history was making the national championship game last year. Oh yeah, they made like 6 out of the last 8 Sweet 16s. So they've had two really bad early exits, and they lost in a Sweet 16 to a high seed who was just on a crazy run. It's really been it. It's just that perception. When you dig into it, it's not really as bad as someone make it out to be. But that's neither here nor there. Purdue gets the win, 75-63 over High Point, and we'll face McNeese tomorrow at I think it's a 12-10 tip, if I'm not mistaken. Look, I mean, again, I know some already go on McNeese because of how they came out against Clemson. Clemson couldn't make water from a boat, for one. And I know, sure, you can credit some defense at McNeese, but I don't know, 10% from three is yikes. They're 25% from the field, Clemson at one point. And then McNeese got really conservative at the end. They can't make their free throws. They're not a great free throw shooting team. But, you know, they could do some things that could potentially give Purdue some fits. And that's fine. I mean, to me, a 5 and a 12 seed is not, or 4 and a 12 seed, I should say. There's not as much difference to me as there used to be. It's just a different game now. But I will say this about Purdue: they are going to have to continue to get help. And I've said this all season about the Boilermakers. It's Braden Smith and Trey Kaufman-Renn, and then whoever else decides to show up that game. and I've been really critical of Lawyer, and I know he's definitely had some good games. Don't get me wrong, but there's times where he should be more consistent in having these good games. He had 8 points. He was 1 of 4 from the field. Only took 1 3-pointer, missed it. Braden Smith 20 points. I mean, obviously Big Ten Player of the Year. You expect that from him, but even he had an off night from a shooting perspective. He's only 6 of 19. Trey Kaufman 10 of 16. That's about what you expect from him. But what was the difference in this game for Purdue then? Here, it's like, well, Mike, here you go again, talking about the same 2 guys and how they pull this off. They finally got some help from their bench. I mean, finally. I mean, we've watched this team, and you'll see from the bench perspective, they'll get 8 points. He had 11 on his own. 10 rebounds. Well, I mean, that was desperately needed for Purdue. Harris came in with 8 rebounds. That's something they had not been doing a very good job of for quite a while. But combined, the bench, added 22 points. And 22 rebounds. Something that's been missing for a long, long time. Now, that production has to continue. Obviously, I'm not saying those exact numbers, but this type of production has to continue if they want to, advance. And I still think they need a little bit more of an offensive. I don't expect Braden to have another shooting day like that. I mean, usually when he has a rough day, he'll come back and he'll make up for it. And I expect Lawyer to get a few more shots off too, but it'll be interesting to see what kind of defense McNeese comes out with. But I still need more from First and CJ Cox. And again, I say it all the time. I know they're young, I get it, but 2 points and 2 rebounds and 10 to 15 minutes of play, it's almost like you're just kind of out there. You know what I mean? You're not really you're like taking up space. So, but here's the thing about this, and we'll see what happens tomorrow. But if Purdue can get this win, yet another Sweet 16 for Purdue. And to me, this is where I think finally Coach Matt Painter's starting to get the respect that he deserves. Some would say maybe hit a few years ago, fine, definitely last year for sure. But you got to remember, this is a team that completely had to change their philosophy this year. They were expecting a rim defender, just a guy that's to, again, it was Zach Edey's replacement, another 7'4" guy, protecting the rim. Second, game of the season, he breaks his leg, he's done. Another sharpshooter they have will come off the bench and, he takes a medical red shirt. So some things you had to adjust kind of on the fly. And still, here you are with another opportunity to make another Sweet 16. And I think, as I've said at the beginning of the year, I think if they get there and if they go out after that, to me, it's a successful season based off everything that's taken place. I still think next year, assuming, everybody comes back, it's a weird time in college sports, as we all know. But this would be a team to look out for. So I've had some disagreement, very, gentleman disagreements with some folks about Braden. I don't think his game at this point translates to the NBA game. He's not a big guy. His shot is still, his shot's okay. It can get better. And I can only imagine him going up against a Brunson, in the NBA. That would be just back to that, or even like a Tyrese. So hopefully, I know people are putting out some rumors. And I think people just do that just to do it, that he was looking at the transfer portal. My guess is it's not the case at all. And that they just put that out there to see if he could get any more dough, or any more NIL money his way. Matt Painter did something similar a few years ago, basically pushed the idea, or his people were pushing the narrative that he was going to leave Purdue for Missouri. Next thing you know, he gets a contract extension and gets some fat cash. So, yeah, I don't put a lot of stock in those things, but obviously worth keeping the eyes on. But tomorrow, again, 12-10, McNeese. Hopefully they can get the win and making those Sweet 16 appearances would be fantastic. So, all right. So with that being said, let's get into one of the bigger stories, if not the biggest story going on in the state of Indiana right now, which would be the hire of now former West Virginia coach Darren DeVries. And oh boy, this was interesting. So for those of you who don't know, apparently if you first and foremost, I would say this: if you haven't watched the introductory press conference, go watch it. It was interesting because he answers questions. He made all these on the surface, it's all good and it's all great, And then you realize, well, wait a minute. He made a comment basically stating, well, I was appreciative of the administration here at IU kind of let me do my thing with my team. And I'm like, wait a minute, what? What? So basically what you're telling me is, at the Atlantis deal in the Bahamas, basically you were talking with him then. And that's basically what we have found out. And then shortly after the fact, it's his son who all of a sudden he's out for the year. Now, I'm not doubting the injury. I'm not putting that. I'm not doing that. Some have already done it. I'm not going to sit there and float that idea. But some have been like, "Oh, well, that was just convenient." Blah blah blah. So I understand some West Virginia folks are mad, but unfortunately, it's just coaching for you. You look at this, and I believe if you take the actual calendar, this is actually technically speaking, if you're lining up the days of the calendar, this would be his third program in a calendar year. He left Drake. Right, he obviously did a great job at Drake. Goes to West Virginia for a year, and then now he's at Indiana. So I just thought those tidbits were kind of interesting. It is what it is. As far as a coach, my thoughts on this, I don't get too wrapped up in it. You see it online already. You see, some of these guys, blogger guys and these guys who write for these all different types of publications because they want to still get their source. They will still be friendly and be buddy and chummy, like home run hire. This is a great hire. This is you knocked this one out of the park. Yeah, well, you know what, y'all said that about Archie Miller too, and how'd that work out? A lot of people said that about Mike Woodson. How did that work out? I'm just saying, not that I see why I understood the Woodson hire. I get it. I didn't really understand the Archie hire from the get-go. But he was a flavor of the month then. So I guess that's why you do it. But I think honestly, at this point, I do think this makes IU potentially a better team. And I say potentially because you may or may not have heard, but you've got Cupps and Renew who have entered the portal. I think most anticipate Cupps probably does not come back. That's just from what some sources I've been reading here. Renew I think maybe does. So I still think they'll have a few returning guys, and obviously you'll have DeVries' son in there who's a good player into the mix too. So IU could still be a formidable team next year. We'll wait and see. Obviously, we'll see what kind of recruiter he is. IU from an NIL, from a budget standpoint, they're sitting pretty. So you're going to be able to shell out some cash to get some of these talents to come in because, quite frankly, I think that's about the only way they can do it. Just solely for the fact that, again, another year that IU misses out on the tournament. This is 7 out of 9 years that IU missed out on the tournament. That's not. I'm sorry, but that's just not. Quite frankly, it's not acceptable. And it still cracks me up how there's a lot of IU fans that still think that they're the premier basketball school in the state right now. They're not. At this point, there's not. Could they get there? Could they get back to that point? Sure, of course. You still have a brain. There's still the tradition of all that. That's not going away. And we'll see if this hire is the case or not. Because let's be honest, that he should have been in the tournament. He should be coaching right now. IU fans think they got hosed? No, you didn't. You did not. I'm sorry, you guys did not get hosed. You didn't. You didn't beat anybody. I know we want to speak this into existence, right? Like, oh, well, okay, you beat Purdue once. So rivalry, you split it. Cool. To me, that wasn't – Purdue was not playing good basketball at that point. But that doesn't matter, even if they were. Those rivalry games are just what they are, so you just never know. You can throw the book out on a lot of that stuff, right? The one great win Indiana had all season was at Michigan State. That was by far and away their best win, in my opinion. But you look at these other teams they beat, people are going, oh, after they beat Ohio State, that should have put them in. Ohio State's not even in the tournament. So why should have that 6-point win at home put you in? Look at West Virginia beating up Gonzaga, Arizona, having much bigger, marquee wins, so to speak. So if anybody should be, they're the ones to me that got hosed. But from an IU perspective, you have their coach now. So maybe that's, maybe it's changed the trajectory of things. I don't know. I hope so. We'll see how he does. Coaching in the Big Ten is not easy. There's a lot, as we know, a lot of good coaches in the Big Ten, Big 18, whatever you want to call them. He's going to have to recruit against. Purdue's been bringing in some getting business from 5-star recruits this year. Izzo always does. Dusty May in Michigan, look what he's done. Underwood at Illinois. There's a lot. I'm just telling. I'm scratching the surface. Oh, but to put it, I guess, to sum it up and put it in a little bow, whatnot. Again, these hires always look great initially. We just wait and see. I do think, though, just from what little bit of West Virginia I did see this year, I do think they're getting a better coach. Woodson could get some guys here, but I just never felt that he could really just bring them together and just have them gel from a X's and O's standpoint. So it's good. IU needed to move on. I thought they probably should have moved on last year. I get why they didn't. There's a big payout there. I get it. But we'll see. I think these next few years are going to be really interesting for Indiana basketball, solely for the fact that, if he does struggle, people will be looking back and going, man, we could have parted ways a year earlier and could have got Dusty May. And as I said, Dusty's an Indiana guy, and there he is doing good things in Michigan. They've obviously won their first round game. So, but yeah, we'll keep it going. We'll see how the recruiting goes. And I know people at IU are excited, and, I get it. I think, again, on paper, this looks good, but I just don't get excited about it because we've been down this road before. So we'll see where it goes. But just real quick before we have to wrap up here, almost on the hour, I'm going to leave the color here because, quite frankly, the IndyCar series is multiple colors anyway. So here we go. I just want to touch on this real quick. We'll cover the race on next week's show, but IndyCar is at Thermal Club this weekend, and people are going, where the heck is Thermal Club? That's basically right outside of Palm Springs, California. Apparently not the most race-friendly track for fans, but it is what it is, and it's actually a points race this year, which in the past it hasn't been. So, but no, we'll cover this next week. But hopefully you're able to get a chance to watch. And I say that every time. This is a good racing series to sink your teeth into. If you're not into, if you don't watch a ton of racing, this series has everything: road, street, ovals, you name it. It's very, very unique in that regard. So encourage you to watch. Again, they got the new contract this year with Fox. So we'll be going green just probably shortly after 3 p.m. on Sunday. With it's a practice today. We'll have calls tomorrow. So on that note, we are going to call it a show. Thank you so very much. Real quick, got Brian checking in from Mill Beantown. He's got a he's new to our network. Give him a listen. He's got some really good content. So definitely check him out. And as I mentioned, check out all of our hosts. We got you covered to see the shining sea. So with that said, thank you so much for tuning in. Again, whether it was live here or on the replay, cannot express my gratitude enough. Hey, enjoy the weekend. Have a great weekend. Enjoy all the games. Hopefully your brackets aren't busted too much. Mine are okay as of now, but we'll see how the rest of the night goes. But we'll touch more on that next week. So in the meantime, have a safe, happy weekend, everybody, and we'll see you next week. Big Mike here, Indy Sports Nation, right here on IE Sports Radio. Have a great weekend, everybody.